Legendary status. Vic XL, Sam Pisa, aka TF. Where y'all gonna learn, man? You can't stop what's inevitable. It's the incredible. PZ, AKTF, dropping jewels, but they edible. I ate my vegetables, but he ate my spinach. Riding with Vic again, so no, we ain't finished. Legendary status, so no, you cannot copy. Riding dirty radio, so crispy, also sloppy. Instant to the street, so we know just what is needed. But keep it underground, staying down, cause we ain't greedy. This is where you find what is popping for the culture, where we keeping it all fresh and stay away from all the vultures. No scavengers here, just keeping it real. Vic got it out the mud, but it's still so clear. So sit back, relax, and just let us lead you. If you trolling for no reason, then we don't need you. It's Vic XL, he can't be stopped. Riding dirty forever, the home of real hip hop.
Ride dirty, dog, and y'all can't harm me. I'm living fly in the sky with the stars. Ride dirty, ride dirty, ride dirty, ride dirty. Ride dirty, dog, and y'all can't harm me. I'm living fly in the sky with the stars. Ride dirty, ride dirty, ride dirty, ride dirty.
Edible. PZ, AKTF, dropping jewels, but they edible. I ate my vegetables, but he ate my spinach. Riding with Vic again, so no, we ain't finished. Legendary status, so no, you cannot copy. Riding dirty radio, so crispy, also sloppy. Instant to the street, so we know just what is needed. But keep it underground, staying down, cause we ain't greedy. This is where you find what is popping for the culture, where we keeping it all fresh and stay away from all the vultures. No scavengers here, just keeping it real. Vic got it out the mud, but it's still so clear. So sit back, relax, and just let us lead you. If you trolling for no reason, then we don't need you. It's Vic XL, he can't be stopped. Riding dirty forever, the home of real hip hop.
Ride dirty, dog, and y'all can't harm me. I'm living fly in the sky with the stars. Ride dirty, ride dirty, ride dirty, ride dirty. Ride dirty, dog, and y'all can't harm me. I'm living fly in the sky with the stars. Ride dirty, ride dirty, ride dirty, ride dirty.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, world? It's your boy Vic XL, and this is the Riding Dirty Show, where we bridge the gap between hip-hop and everyday life, man. This is a show that provides a platform for everyone in the world, movers and shakers, trendsetters, the people that are moving and shaking our culture, all right? That's what this platform is about, giving a voice to the voiceless, giving a voice to those who might not normally get the opportunity to explain their story, okay? Now, before we get into it, and tonight's guest, the first thing I want to say is one time for the good people over at WRFG 89.3 FM Atlanta. Be sure to check us out every Thursday night, Friday morning from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. I also got to say one time for the good people over at live365.com. Okay. Last year, at the beginning of the pandemic, we partnered up with live365.com and launched our very own internet radio station. All right. That station is Ride 95. Now, the way to access our station is very, very easy and simple. All you got to do is go to live365.com, go to their search engine. In their search engine, there's over 2,000 radio stations. Type in Ride 95. All right? That's R-I-D-E, the number 9, the number 5. Click on our station logo, and you'll have music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. All right? Now, if you want to check us out via your mobile device, it's also just as easy. Be sure to download the Live 365 app. Go to that search engine. Type in Ride 95. Click that station logo, and again, voila. Music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Now, let me tell you guys something very, very interesting about internet radio. Some years ago, there were some laws passed that states that internet radio stations are supposed to pay royalties just like terrestrial radio. Okay? Now, there are a lot of internet radio stations out there, but a lot aren't officials because they don't pay royalties. Well, all stations affiliated with Live 365 pays royalties. So if you're fortunate enough to have your music played on Ride 95 and your music is properly registered, then you will receive credits towards money for radio play. Okay? All right. So lock us in because we got what you need, because we give you the best in what's next in hip-hop and R&B. Now, let's get to what we like to do. As Houdini say, let's get to the good part. Get on down to the good part. All right. Y'all know how we do right here on the Ride and Dirty Show. We give a platform for those people who will be heard from but might not be heard from right now. We're the voice of the voiceless. We're the people. We're the show. We're the platform that allows you to speak your mind through arts, entertainment, philanthropism, entrepreneurship, religion, culture, or if you're just a downright good-ass person, this is a platform for you to come through and just say what you got going on. And tonight is no different. So welcome to the Ride and Dirty platform. Artist named Leon. What's going on, my G?
Yo, what's good, man?
Man, maintaining, trying to do my thing and stay corona-free.
I feel you. I'm on that same.
Okay. All right. Look, the first thing I always like to start off by saying is welcome to the show. And I'm very humbled and privileged for you to come on, take time out your busy schedule to speak to my loyal listeners.
Oh, man, I appreciate you for having me on the show.
All right, man. So let's get into it. Artist named Leon. The first thing I want you to tell the people is where you're from and what was your introduction to the music business.
I'm from Valdosta, Georgia, a little over 3 hours south of Atlanta. What got me into music, you know, my pops did music, so I felt like it was in my genes, you know. So, I just started to pursue it as a career like 4 years ago and actually made myself a name. And, you know, I came up with ArtistNameLeon and it just stuck and I just been running with it ever since.
Okay, now, you said your pops got you into the music and you're from Valdosta. What's it like growing up in Valdosta? Now, I don't know how much you know about sports and high school sports history, but I was born and raised in a town called Griffin, Georgia. And for years, Valdosta and all those schools down there used to whoop our ass in high school football.
Yeah, man, they take football very, very seriously down there. It was definitely you either play sports or, you know, was on the other side of it. But yeah, football was definitely a serious thing, man. But yeah, I'm just glad to be here and be out here doing my thing up here in Atlanta.
Okay, now, your father got you into the music. When did you realize that you had a talent to pursue music? Because it's one thing to grow up in a musical household, but it's a whole nother thing to step out on your own and do your own thing, whether it's singing, rapping, producing, whatever the case may be. When did you realize you had talent?
Like I've always, like my dad was heavy in the R&B. He was a real like R&B songwriter and singer. And for me, I always was gravitated towards like rap. And so I started off like rapping, you know, 9 years old, like, you know, writing rhymes and stuff in school. And it just, as I got older, it just kept progressing. And then it wasn't until 2017 that I was like, yo, I want to actually do this for real and actually make myself not only an artist, but like make a brand out of it. And then, you know, just kept pushing it from there.
Okay. All right. Now, your first interest was rap. Tell me what was
right.
What about hip hop and rap that made you gravitate to it first?
I want to say my first introduction to rap was I was like probably like a baby still, but hearing Crisscross on the radio, you know what I mean? I could hear and then, you know, see the videos of like, yo, these are young kids, not too much older than me, rapping like this and doing it their way. So that was kind of like my introduction to like, yo, I want to do this. And of course, you know, I got older. It was more, I was just listening to what my cousins and my uncles was listening to, which was like Outkast, Goody Mob, A-Ball, MJG, Pimp C, you know. So like I was always listening to older folks, like OG music, even though I was a young cat. You know, so once I got older into high school, you know, it was Gucci, Jeezy, you know, and then, you know, I just kept, it's always been like Georgia, Atlanta rap. Like that's always going to be my like go-to bread and butter. Like I like Biggie, Jay-Z, Pac, but like Atlanta rap for me is like, that's my bread and butter. So that's what it is.
Okay, now, considering Valdosta is 3 hours away from Atlanta, what was the Valdosta music scene like first?
It was, I mean, we pretty much adopted it. Like, you know, we look at Atlanta like our big brother. So we pretty much, anything that was hot up there, anything that was doing it, we took it and made it our own. You know what I mean? So, and we were right on that Georgia, Florida line too. So we was definitely picking up a lot of Florida influences as well. So people like, you know, Jay Money, he was one of the ones that was bumping a lot. And, you know, Papa Duck, of course. But yeah, we was always taking influences from both those cities and both those states. So I'm definitely, you know, I pay homage to both of those, Georgia and Florida.
No doubt, no doubt. Okay, now, what was that very first studio experience like for you?
I want to say I recorded my first song. I was like, I wasn't even in high school yet. I was like 14, and me and a homie of mine, we was on some, you know, fast-paced Bone Thugs type rap. Like this was like before we knew like the Migos and everything. It was just how we rapped, what we liked. And we went into the studio to make a record with a older friend of ours, and he was just blown away. But like, yo, these young guys are like rapping this fast-paced rap style, and it's like, you know what I mean? They were amazed at that age. So, you know, I just felt like it was something that we had that was special, and I just always just held on to that. And it just, you know, I just got better at it as I got older.
Okay, all right. So what made you realize, or what made you actually decide to pack up and move to the ATL?
I moved out when I was young. Like out of high school, I moved, you know, to go be on the West Coast in Washington State. And then we bounced from Washington State to New York. And I was in New York for like 5 years. I lived uptown, right off of Dykeman, and just really got myself into like the New York scene. You know, like I went to a lot of warehouse parties, a lot of rooftop parties, just like trying to just like, you know what I mean, gain experience and just like have things to like write about. And then we moved out to LA. It was cool, but it was like, for me, it was too far from home, and it just made more sense to come back to Atlanta, just do like a full circle and just bring it back home. And yeah, man, like I'm glad I did it. Like I always felt like I was going to end up here, and it happened.
Okay, now, being able to say you had an opportunity to experience the West Coast, New York, and the ATL, how has the influences of each one of these areas influenced your musical style and your sound?
I want to say New York definitely gave me like that hustle. New York definitely taught me how to like stay on top of what I'm doing and just go at it and just keep grinding and keep working and keep pushing. Because if you're not, then the next man beside you, he's going to outwork you. He's going to, you know what I mean? So that just taught me to just stay on my grind and keep pushing. I want to say LA, it just taught me not to take things too seriously, have to be a little more, you know what I mean? Just try to be more, not too lax, but you know what I mean? Don't try to stress situations, kind of like ease up off situations and not to take things too seriously. And then just coming back home to ATL, man, it just, you know, it's just like being back home, man. It just brings back all that nostalgic feeling, and it just feels right to be back home in Atlanta.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, man, let's talk a little bit about your sound, because you started out as a rapper, but you realized that you had more of a talent for melodies. First of all, how did that even come about? Like, were you in the studio one day, like, oh man, I'm okay with these melodies, or how did you realize that you enjoyed the melody side of things more so than the lyrical side of things? And at what point did you start incorporating more singing and less rap?
Well, like I said earlier, my pops was a singer, so I felt like it was something that was already in me, but I wasn't paying too much attention to. You know what I mean? I felt like I wasn't that okay being that vulnerable. I felt like that was a vulnerable side of me that nobody knew about, so I definitely wasn't showcasing it as much. But yeah, I think I was in the studio one day, and this was had never used auto-tune before, and I think my engineer at the time just hit a switch by accident, and he turned it on, and I just hit like one note, and I liked how it sounded. I was like, yo, you know. So I just kept doing it, and then, you know, I took it back home and let a few people hear it, and I was like, yo, you need to do more of this. Like, stop whatever you're doing and just do more of this. So, like, once I got that okay and I got that, I was like, all right. I went back to the studio and I just kept messing around with it, more finessing it, and just got better the more I did it. So, yeah, it was just like a untapped talent that I didn't know I had.
Okay, now, the fans that had got used to you rapping and hip hop, how did the new style resonate with them?
I think it did good. I think it amplified my sound. It just made it that much more. Worldly. I feel it took me from being like this one-dimensional artist to like a three-dimensional artist. You know what I mean? I think people really enjoy that about the music. Like, you know, I'm not afraid to be vulnerable anymore. I'm not afraid to let people know, you know, what's going on personally with me. You know, so I think it definitely helped.
Okay. All right. Now, in 2021, and being an independent artist, what are some of the most valuable lessons you've learned as an independent artist that you would pass on to other artists?
Patience is one of the biggest things. I think a lot of people expect things to happen overnight, and it just don't work that way, man. Like, people don't see the amount of work artists put into their craft, into everything, the marketing and everything that goes on behind it. It's just like, you know what I mean? So definitely patience, hard work. Like, you definitely have to, it's going to be nights where you don't sleep, you got to bounce from here to there, and there's going to be days where you feel like giving up, and they just got to keep pushing and keep going. And I think the last but most important thing is just like believing in yourself. Like, nobody's going to believe in you as much as you believe in you. So I feel like if you don't believe in what you're doing, nobody's going to believe in what you're doing. So you got to be your biggest fan. You got to be the one who's waking you up in the morning, pushing you to go 1,000% every day. So, yeah.
All right. Now, you mentioned not quitting. In your career, has there been moments where you felt like you wanted to quit? And what made you keep pushing, if so?
Yeah, it's definitely been times where I've been, you know, down and out, you know, but it's always, I feel like there's always God sends me signs and like little messages. Like, I pay so much attention to, you know, what's going on in the world now, just to be grateful for every little moment. But I take every little success and I'm grateful for it. Nothing goes unappreciated. And yeah, you just got to count your blessings, man. I just think you got to look at things in a different light and not be so negative, and just be grateful.
All right. ArtistNameLeon. Very, very unique name. Please tell me the origin of that name.
Yeah, like, Leon's my middle name, kind of like my alter ego. So it's always been like, you know, if it wasn't Kevin, no one called me Kevin, it was Leon. So I always stuck with Leon. But for marketing purposes, I knew I had to come up with something more, you know what I mean, that stood out more than just Leon. So I don't know, man. I think I was just like playing around with just like artist name. And I just added Leon. I just like, yo, I'm just going to put it all together and just make it one word. And yeah, and just work. Like nobody else has that moniker. You know what I mean? You type it in Google, you know, it's all me that pops up. So I feel like it, you know, God was looking out and it worked out.
All right, no doubt. Now, in your career, has that been the name you started out with, or were there name changes before you got to Artist Name Leon?
Oh yeah, before that I was Apex Leon. I don't know if if people want to go look that up, they can. They can see like the transition of how it how it was before I became Artist Name Leon. But Leon has always been like in that name, in the rap name.
Okay. All right, let's talk a little bit about the World Wide Web, man. We live in an era that everything is transparent and on the World Wide Web before it hit magazines, before it hit the news. It's on the World Wide Web and social media. But as an artist, the World Wide Web can be an amazing tool, but also the World Wide Web can be a very detrimental tool. For yourself, how have you been able to utilize the World Wide Web when it comes to getting your music to the masses and obtaining fans?
It's been working. I mean, I use it to like definitely like promote the music and just like connect with people on a personal level. I feel like people in this day and age, fans, they want to be able to interact with the artists more than just like, liking a video or liking a song. Like they want to know what's going on, how you really feel. So I feel like in this day and age, it's a lot easier to access people and get in contact with people. So it definitely can be beneficial. It could be detrimental depending on how you use it. I try not to get too caught up in, the negative, but, it comes with the game, man. You're going to have people hate you, you're going to have people like you. It's about your mindset at the end of the day. So I just try to stay positive and, just keep pushing forward and keep moving forward.
Okay, no doubt, man. That's no doubt. Now, when it comes to females, and everyone knows females are the most influential when it comes to the musical culture, especially urban music, hip hop, and R&B. What does Artist Name Leon have for the ladies?
Honesty. Honesty. Yeah, just being a real person. Like there's no fabrication, there's no glam, there's no flexing. It's just, real person, real emotions, real stories. That's what I'm giving people.
All right, man, I just had somebody hit me and ask, what type of ladies does Artist Name Leon like?
I like real women who love themselves, who are honest with themselves, who believe themselves, who can hold their own, and, somebody who's real.
Okay. All right. For all your fans, what would be something interesting that they wouldn't believe or know about Artist Name Leon? Something that you like to do, like do you like wrestling or do color? Like what's an interesting fun fact about Artist Name Leon?
I like to read comic books, like I'm really I'm a geek at heart. Like I like comics, I like anime, you know what I mean? I like stuff like that. To me, that's it's like embracing that inner kid. I feel like a lot of people, not saying I had a rough childhood, but I'm just saying a lot of people, you know what I mean, didn't have it so great growing up. So I just feel like it's good to, let that inner kid free. You know what I mean? No matter how old you get. I know people 50 and 60 years old who still do kid stuff. So I feel that's what keeps you young and what keeps you youthful. So, if I could tell anybody, tell the fans, man, embrace that inner kid.
All right. How do you want to be remembered in this music industry?
I just want to be remembered for being me. Like when people think of Artist Name Leon, I just want them to think of me. I don't want them to think of someone, like I don't want to be known as like this greater than person. I just want to be known as artist named Leon. He made great music, touched a lot of people, was a solid dude. And that's it, man. I can't ask for more, yo.
All right, man. My last question. I got 2 records by you that I'm gonna be dropping both of these records, but I want to ask you about them. The first record I want to ask you about is entitled "Miss Me." Tell me a little bit about that joint.
Yeah, "Miss Me" is definitely something more dedicated toward the ladies. It's definitely telling the story. It's raw emotion. It's me being vulnerable, me wearing my heart on my sleeve, and just, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of men, you know, we don't really showcase, talk about how we really feel. We want to, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to showcase that and just be like, I'm a real human being with real feelings. So this is what it is, you know? This is how, you know, so.
All right, and the next record we're going to drop is "More to Do." Tell me about it.
Yeah, "More to Do," featuring my boy Reef Money. We came together and we made something that I felt like is really gonna touch the people. It's really gonna impact the music industry. It's mainly just us realizing like, yo, we worked hard to get to where we at, but we also understand that there's more work to do. Like Nipsey said, man, the marathon continues. It doesn't stop. It's not a race. So we just like, we know where we at and know where we're trying to go. So it's more work to do.
All right, now, before I have you introduce both those records, let the people know how to find you on the World Wide Web.
For sure. You can find me on IG at ArtistNameLeon, all one word. Make sure to go check out the new single, "More to Do," streaming on all platforms, featuring my boy Reef Money. We got more music, more videos coming soon, so I'll just keep it locked.
All right, man. Appreciate it, my G. Thank you for giving us the time to talk to you.
All right, I appreciate you, man.
All right. Yes, sir.